Dear distinguished guests, dear friends, dear colleagues, our online audience on YouTube and on Metaverse, because we are also broadcasting this event in Metaverse. Welcome to Café Artistique, organized by BSBI Hamburg. Today we have a very esteemed guest, Miss Asli Dinç, a very fascinating artist and performer. She came from Berlin specifically for this event. Thank you very much for your presence. Today we are going to discuss actually her perspective on the transformation of narration under the influence of technology. Once again, thank you very much for coming, and if you would agree, I will start with a very conventional question. Okay. Who are you? What is your background? What is your perspective towards arts? What are your inspiration? What is your background? Can you please tell us a little bit about who you are?
First of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for coming. I'm Asli Dinç, originally from Turkey, currently based in Berlin. Can say I'm multidisciplinary, a research-based artist.
Great. So we are going to talk about this multidisciplinary description of yours. So can you also briefly describe your artistic background? I know that you are a Francophone like me, and how come that you ended up in Berlin?
Yes, I graduated from painting department from Marmara University in Istanbul. And then about 3 years ago, after inviting by Stiftung Berliner Leben from Urban Nation Museum program, I decided to stay. I was invited for a project called Here Future, where I collaborated with Istanbul-based creator Zeynep Okyay, and that was a great opportunity for me to move and live in Berlin.
Yeah, talking about Berlin, so how Berlin's art scene and environment, diversity affect your work, your perspective towards art?
I could say Berlin was always an attraction point on my map, let's say, with its layered history, underground movement, culture, hacker culture as Chaos Computer Club, and of course diversity. The main reason that we decided to launch Here Future project is the city hosts people from different backgrounds, and that was a perfect fit for the project. So, yes.
Yeah, you already mentioned 2 times Here Future project. So can you please tell us a little bit more about this Here Future project of yours?
As I mentioned, it's a collaborative project with Zeynep Okyay. It's a participatory project that's aiming to collect city dwellers' future vision, let's say, and has preset actions like by collecting this data, interviews, survey, and workshops, all of them kind of a playful actions. For example, survey, we put boxes in different neighborhoods, okay, and places like museums, libraries, shpetis, and on the box there was written, what would you take to the future? Okay. And we collect data from different neighborhoods in Berlin. And for the workshop, which is the playful and participatory also part, based in role-playing game. Okay. We invite participants and divide 2 different time zones, like future 2100 and present 2022 that time. And we ask to them to craft a character from their own time zone. Like future character, present character.
It's kind of an avatar.
Yes, kind of avatar. And then they start ask question, what is your character's environment and what's the
character.
story behind, etc. And at the end of the workshops, we created these all characters to a collectible cards, like a Pokemon cards.
Okay.
And for the cards, I use text-to-image model, which was very earlier model. And yeah, we transform the card with using the AI, and that was very interesting project because I didn't know how people challenge or hesitating even imagining or dreaming about future.
Okay. I think a similar project was done in the 1911 or 1912. So they asked people what would be actually the shape in the future around 2000. So we had a very similar pictures of what we have right now. Do you think of evolving this project for further steps, or it is a sealed project and it's done?
I will definitely evolve because it's both interesting and eye-opening, let's say. I want to implement in different cities and countries and to collect data and make a data visualization or mapping, and also transform to an online game so people can engage and maybe create some future scenarios like as an open source tool that all people involve and play and create their character by themselves. And now this kind of ideas.
Yeah, you can expand it to Hamburg, more than welcome. We can also contribute to that project, which is very interesting, actually. And talking about your project, you also have something else which is called Andata, I think. Can you also give us a little bit more information about this project of yours?
Andata is the first project that I collaborated with an AI performer. I performed twice. The first time was at the 16 Istanbul Biennale program, and the second was in Passage, an artist run space in Istanbul. That was like a performative installation solo show. Let me introduce you. Andata is a data organization established in a alternative future time where daily life is almost commodified by under the domination of giant tech and algorithm.
Okay.
And they have preset like different operations like streaming, reading their manifesto, processing, collecting the data, and transform the data into contra data. And they are doing all these operations live. In the performative part, I was kind of a ghost performer.
Okay.
I invite people, one by one, to watch the manifesto video, and then in the chat channel, I asked them to share the first memory they came to their mind after watching the manifesto, and then at the real time, I collect the keywords of their memories and share with AI, LLM model.
And this
GPT.
AI is created by a third party, or you are using another platform for this?
Yes, another.
Okay.
And then by AI, I created a fake memory function they call as a contra data, a data noise to protect our privacy, which is already leaked. And without our consent, but they work for that to, kind of a shield, build a shield, and they block this leakage, let's say. And it was so interesting because some of the participants told me that their fake memories were very similar memory that they already experienced.
Okay.
And also very fascinated moments that witness the pure knowledge of being human while collaborating with an artificial intelligence. And yeah, I use, by the way, GPT-2 and then GPT-3. So I really want to reperform because now I have a chance to use GPT-4.
Yeah.
And I will have the chance to archive this also AI evolution in LLMs, let's say, and yes.
To be honest, I find it a bit scary. The idea of being controlled by algorithms, so we are already compromising our privacy. So to be honest, I find it a bit scary, but what do you think?
Yeah, but they are, on your side, on our side. So.
Okay, cool. So you also mentioned a giant, so I could catch this word. So can you also talk about this Eye of the Giant Squid project of yours?
Yeah, giant, because now we are referring big data, but that time, but probably in 10 years will be giant. Okay, I don't start talking.
Please do, please.
Okay. Giant tech,
Squid.
Giant squid is, I started, I think, 5-6 years ago about surveillance capitalism and also delve into open source intelligence. And with these tools, open source intelligence tools, I could access some CCTVs. And especially during pandemic, the lockdown days, I took a stroll through the cameras like an obsessive, every day. And to monitor live the streets, corners, places, everywhere. And I record over 1,000 video.
Okay.
And
stalking, actually, these and via CCTVs.
Like drifting through cameras.
Okay.
And that's emerged also another project called 2020 a CCTV Odyssey. And then while recording and watching drifting anyway, I constantly encounter with weird camera angles. Why you put that camera there? Or hacked cameras, or animals interacting with cams,
Yeah.
like doing interventions. And that's also this everyday action shift my perception.
Okay.
Perspective really definitely alienated me. I was like living inside a 3D isometric game, 2D, pardon. And for capture that feeling, I develop a synthetic ecosystem where features human species networks, let's say kin networks. And that's also emerged another project called Tentacle Manifesto. And lately, I want to add the alien gaze of machine. So I train 2 datasets, these weird angles and glitches, and animals who are interacting with camera. And I use guns and machine learning, let's say, to create the giant squid eyes. And that was the basic definition of the project.
So do you still continue to invest your time in this project, or it is also a sealed project?
I think it's terminate
Okay.
It's time because it was start with this weird moment we call pandemic COVID. So, yeah.
Fine. So before the session, we were talking about the facial recognition systems. So I was telling you, as an expert in facial recognition systems, that we used to, actually we are still using it for many different purposes,
Yes.
like marketing and emotional measures. So I want to focus on that with my next question. So can you please tell us about your research into facial recognition system that actually you were focused on in your work, and you were also interested in the indigenous rituals for face painting,
Yes.
just to hack this facial recognition surveillance systems. Can you please tell us more details about it? Because I find it very interesting, because I was also curious about to know if ever we can actually paint our face and then prevent to be recognized by the facial recognition systems.
Let's try, who knows. Yeah, while same years, I first came across Adam Harvey's work called CV Dazzled, sorry,
Okay.
CCTV stuff. CV Dazzled, and the project investigates makeup applications or camouflage applications to hack algorithms. It's 6 years ago, I think. And some collectives from London also follow the trend. And then I saw face jewelry design, and I thought, come on, this is really look like burqa, and that clicked. And then I delved into deeper, and I saw a similarity with this modern hack and ancient hack.
Okay.
And so that the project investigates actually proximity between this modern hack, ancient hack, hiding, concealing, revealing, and hacking the system, but always an eye was involved, or every concept that I now am counting. Like hiding from the nature, which ancient indigenous people use for when they go for hunting, or sometimes reverse for represent, show themselves as a ceremonial purpose, or hiding a part of your face for Islamic culture, or which is the eye of the human, or hiding your face to not to hack the algorithm, which is the eye of the algorithm. So the name of the project, by the way, is Blessing of the Architect's Ducks, which is another name of our fellow Cthulhu giant squid,
Okay.
Latin name. And the giant squid once as considering as a cryptid, after being proven, now is catalogued as a living thing and has largest eyes among living other creatures.
Okay.
So this is why I obsess with giant squid, and yeah, it has 25 centimeter across, you know, a
Okay.
big dinner plate. Anyway, the project has different layers. Like first, I research and collect this implementation of ancient indigenous people and also religious patterns and items, and we developed a model trained only on my selfies, and I test. And after testing, the one who passed, let's say not recognized by the eye of the algorithm, I will develop masks from the ones who not recognized the part of the who not recognized, let's say, and create an interdimensional tribe. And they will perform their ritual with using these masks as, between times, civilizations, everything will be blurred at that time. And the ritual is aiming, receiving the blessing of the Artetated Dusk, the giant eye. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you also make some connection between the big brother is watching you and this big eye? Because when you were talking, I make a kind of link between these two. Do you also make this connection?
I make more connection with whole 9,000, let's say, in the Space Odyssey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the beginning, I introduced you as an artist, also as a performer. So can you tell us a little bit your work as a performer? How did you begin to integrate performance into your art and work?
Performance. After the research part, a subject, a form, a concept took a form, a body. I bring this body into an open lab. Sometimes I transform this open lab itself to a performance. Sometimes I shape-shifting with that body.
Okay.
I think my practice is mainly based on shape-shifting. And like in Andata, I embodied a processor within a data organization. In another performance, I literally represented the centrifuge itself. And another performance, I was in a role of scientist who tried to teleport herself but failing. And in another performance, I was a thing of Stanislaw Lem Eden novel, try to embody itself to a building, and so on and so forth. I think performance is something always lurking in my projects. It's involved even abstractly or tangibly.
Could you describe it as a role playing in arts, maybe?
Yes, maybe.
Okay, so how do you integrate technology in it, in your performance? So you have specific choices regarding this topic of technology, or it depends on the project that you are working on?
Of course, it depends, but I've been collaborating since I'm doing performing with organics and inorganics. Organics like a colony of bacteria. Inorganics like artificial intelligence, 3D printing machine, computer, projector. I pursue both of them as a performer or collaborator. So, yeah.
So
like,
when you
come as you are.
when you mention it, I can see that you also face some difficulties regarding the performance. What are the difficulties that you are facing during this performance of yours?
As I mentioned, I use performance as an open lab where this shape-shifting or becoming thing take place. But when I perform, like audience witness for the first time, but I'm performing it for the first time. So in theory, I prepare beforehand, but in practice, I do not rehearsals. So the challenge is that spontaneity, because anything happen in any moment. It's a bit risky, but
yeah, risky.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. So can you also tell us about your philosophy when you approach to your work? What is your artistic philosophy? What about your processes, especially choosing the themes that you want to explore?
I think I'm following chaos. My process, because my process is a total chaos. I'm a highly curious person, and I gather data and insights from a vast array of fields, like hidden corners, deep seas, dark forests, but how, I don't know, for example, sometimes I found myself lost in alien encrypted ecosystems, comfortably disconnected from conventional science and IRL. And sometimes I find myself with unbearable lightness of existence, exploring black holes, dark matter, infinite universe, but probably no matter how I drift, I end up, the path I treat or scroll, pull me in the pulse of political struggle or resistance or daily life struggles. And yeah, it's a bit abstractly I probably express, but
Today, while speaking to a colleague, I said that curiosity kills the cat. And on the other hand, curiosity leads us to improvement and achievement. Yes. So I think curiosity is at the core of everything.
Definitely.
I agree with that, yeah. So I would like to also know about your style, because you are always exploring a speculative and dystopian narratives in your work. So can you also tell us why you are always going after that, this actually dystopian narration of yours?
I think speculative narrations are a great exercises for alternative thinking. And on the other hand, dystopian narratives allows to critique current technologies and systems. They are a great base to, to critique everything. And I don't know, it's, they can serve greatly to stage an interdimensional places or, performing, or they can serve as a resistance tool where you can organize a counterculture or community building mechanisms. So it's a great way to shift your perspective and your state, and I often look missing pieces of the future by looking into future. So why I use these narratives often is, I think this is the best explanation.
Do you think that this is also linked to your Francophone background, because it's a Cartesian way of thinking, and the Francophones or similar mindset is also focused on critical thinking?
Probably, because
it was a Freudian question, sorry. So let's go back to technology, and you also mentioned that you worked a lot with ChatGPT and similar AI platforms. So how do you combine actually AI and your artistic work? Because it's also a very hype topic nowadays, AI and creative industries, art. So can you please tell us a little bit more how it affects your work?
First of all, I since my childhood, I heavily influenced by sci-fi culture. So it's a great period of living and experiencing a sci-fi scenario, let's say. And also, I think the first time in history, humanity questioned an intelligence beyond its own.
Okay.
So that's very exciting times. But there are lots of discussions, so I actually step back, and I don't want to always rely on it or collaborate. I think I just take a bit break and don't synchronize or synthesize this high-speed train, and just question and see what is going on after this whole acceleration on the topic. And
do you find it's too fast?
Too fast.
Yeah. From my perspective, we have lots of dangerous technologies, but I think that the most dangerous technology ever invented is deepfake. So you already had also a project related to deepfake, Cyberint, I think. So can you please also tell us a little bit of this project of yours related to deepfake?
That is a culmination of a arts research program of Code 2023. The theme was reclaiming digital agency, and we collaborated to create a project, a deepfake generator that generates news targeting European institutes and policymakers. It functions like you interact with the machine. When you clicked or push the button, it generates a new deepfake and also projects a gene mutation same time. A gene mutation is the simulation, also a representation of a disinformation spread, and it was mounted, like think a petri dish mounted on the wall, and a cyber deck, and they work synchronously. And when you produce a deepfake news or a news, it's also produce a mutated cell. And with that, I want to express that a policy that allows, even encourage, distribution of deepfakes and disinformation is a structure that is metastatized and lose its cellular integrity and is definitely doomed to die.
Yeah, but it's also very dangerous, because then people won't know what is right, what is wrong, what is true, what is deepfake, what is actually produced. Don't you think so?
It was a representation of what's going on, and this is so dangerous, and even our policymakers are allowing to do that, so kind of a warning.
Or you can easily deny the truth, saying that it's deepfake, and just the contrary.
Yeah, it's very complicated now. I lost the track.
Yeah, so coming back to AI, so we have lots of discussions in their academia, how AI will actually influence the art, the education in this field. So looking forward, how do you envision the future of art and human creativity actually within the context of AI?
Yes, that is also a really complicated question because there is a lot of going on, and I can be in that side or that side. But I could say I heavily impressed by memetic evolution. And memetic evolution and AI is a great reflection, mirror of this process. And machines will follow a path that mirrors evolution, says Ray Kurzweil. But I think this mirroring function mostly for Western dominant history datasets. And that is a key aspect has to change about AI, these colonial datasets. We have to stop these training phases, which already spread a lot. And also Eric Salvaggio stated that AI is a reflection of highly curated social media. That is the same data sets, I think. And also there's a lot of like black boxing, big data, ghost worker class. These are all the shady layer of this time. Medium was the message once. Now Medium is the algorithm.
Yeah.
And we are living it. So these are really important questions and discussions. About creativity, I'm really impressed. I think we are observing, experiencing our humanity and our creativity through an external lens, which is a great, and it is also we are just scratching the surface of its potential. I think it's just the beginning, and I also fascinated by how people use it, like Nora Al-Badri, Moreshin Allahyari, John Ruffman, Jonas Lund, feminist audio bot Sophie Gray by Nadia Marcin, great cryptid projects by Joy Holder. They all critically using AI, which I'm appreciating a lot. And it's greatly facilitate our process of creativity, it is for sure. But as Matteo Pasquinelli stated that we will work more and more than before now. And toil, as you might also creating or making something work is a hard work. It's not a simple, whatever model medium you choose, it's really hard work. So I think that also has to count for the discussion, AI will make art or not kind of stuff. And also we are evolutionary creatures. We crave for evolution. We will evolve alongside with AI evolution. And I think we already become mutation. We mutated by technology. One could say forced to mutate, but sorry, we are already in mutations. We touch our screens more than skins, so.
Well, it was actually my next question. How do you see yourself and your work in this environment, which is changing very fast with this high speed, actually mutation?
Yes, I will following. As I mentioned, I stepped back and don't want to synchronize with these rapid developments, but I will follow all the movements and wiggles going on in dark forest deepseas on ClearNet. But probably I will be a bit at the back side of this stage.
Okay. So, my last question. When we were talking about the topic of, or the title of this Café Artistique meeting, we had some ideas, but at the end we decided to make it as the future is open source, gaming, hacking, and narrating with data. So what would you say about it?
In a Hacker Manifesto, McKenzie work refer hackers not as a stereotypical computer hackers. She refer as a everyone who involved producing, creating, making, modifying raw data and cultural forms to disrupt, interrupt, break boundaries of existing systems. And for gamer, in Gamer Theory book, she states that gamers are leading, opening the road of alternative thinking and resistance. And she used the figure of gamer to critique gamification of the society. And with narrating the data, where I level up the game, I use these tools, as mentioned work, to creatively and intellectually disrupt the systems. And my quest is craft a universe, perform a hacking, mobilize role-playing. And about the open source, I think open source for me, an environment where people gather, people who are investigate, question, share knowledge, share skill, protect their voice and refine it constantly, stand for solidarity and organize, and which is I'm expecting from the future.
Dear Asli, thank you very much for
you.
joining us today at Café Artistique, and thank you very much for coming from Berlin, specifically for this event.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank you. So if you would agree, we can also ask our audience if they have questions, so we can also make a Q&A session.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. So if you have questions, we'll be very happy to answer them. Actually, not we, but our guest.
Thank you very much both for this inspirational conversation and very informative at the same time, because I had lots of, strange words coming to my direction, and I'd love to have, extra talk maybe after the session. What I would like to ask, one of the many questions perhaps I would like to ask is, how do you decide which medium you're going, to explore when dealing with all those, different disciplines, and you have that, strong curiosity involving often, community work? At which stage of your research is it like the medium, that is an algorithm, as you said, driving forward your, exploration? Or is it along the way you get inspired by other, ideas, input from other, participants?
Thank you for the question. I could say it's very intuitive. Like, I collect a keyword somehow and then go deeper and deeper. And after the environment, somehow with the other concept and element and keywords develop like a 2D game, let's say isometric game, you know, putting villages and farm there, like, you know. And then as I mentioned, I use shape-shifting. I just starting to dreaming or fiction how I shapeshift with that concept. And then the medium, if my body or if a place, cultivate, let's say, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much both for the very interesting conversation. My question is in the same spirit, but a bit more practical. I'm in general interested in means of production, in how, in processes of how you make things, how one makes things, how an artist makes things. In your case, you are dealing with forms of art that are almost immaterial, and so I would like to, and you spoke about chaos, about a big recursive part. So I would like if you would like to share with us a few more practical matters, like how is like the working time? You know, do you have a studio? Is it mostly on the computer? How do you get inputs? How do you, like, you know, sleeves up? How do you deal with things in this very practical way? And in a sense, immateriality can be materiality as well. And the web, to a certain degree, can be materially seen as well. So I would like a few thoughts on that as well.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you.
I can say before 2020, after 2020. Before 2020, I like to take walks, like in a situationist way. Tactical, like take a walk to get lost, but in a tactical way.
Okay.
Derive, you know, you know, and collect data from the streets or nature, and you know, field records. After 2020, and with this discover how can I use another intelligence collaborator, I was mostly doing the same tactical drift in cyberspace and collecting data. But now I'm wanna networking with the physical world again, and I have now happily finally a studio, and I will start crafting and experiencing with materials. And I think first thing is making a hybrid installation or stuff, but I don't have any discipline. I'm saying multidisciplinary artist, but I'm no, I don't want to do this job. Yeah, I'm living in a chaotic working system. I don't know how to explain, but mostly drifting and navigating by curiosity. So I probably couldn't answer your question. Yeah. But you can ask.
Yeah, it was a question about the modus operandi, you know, because it's research work. In my thoughts, it also expands in different fields. Like, I was very curious to know how, because you said you started painting. How has this affected your viewing on things? And it's very interesting to, in my mind, to think of someone who works in this multidisciplinary way and in material way, and this being somehow related to painting, even in the sense of an origin. And of course, then curious mind. I'm very curious about that. I would disagree with Okan about the cards and whether curiosity comes from a Cartesian way of thinking. I would say it's a more expanded way of Cartesian way of thinking. Yeah, I don't know. How would you respond to this?
I didn't think about this, but I could say at university I first move to video art, and then I discover my my interaction with a device, and then I see as a collaborator, and I start video performance, and then that moved to just performance, and then again gather other devices to be multi-voice. I don't know, and then that change when the topic change or how the research go deeper, the medium collect different devices, kind of. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Namdi.
Hello.
Nice to be here. I was a bit drawn to your, multidisciplinary side, but I personally, I'm a bit of a video artist. So when I studied, I always wanted to learn how to make video production, especially the animation side, easier. Mm-hmm. And then when AI came, I was happy. But now there are two things now. Some say because of the advent of AI, the creative arts, what we do, is going to be extinct. Why? Because everyone is now a one-man agency. You can practically become a photographer. You can be anything you want to be with help of AI. Some other people say, with the advent of AI, things are going to get, creative education is going to get really expensive because AI services are not for free. They all come subscription-based. And because of that subscription, the person that wants to enjoy those services is going to have to pay a very high price. So because of it, schools like us are also going to need to step up and try to teach, for instance, motion capturing with a click and all that. So where do you sit? Do you sit on the slant that AI is going to make creative education to be extinct because everyone becomes a one-man agency? Or do you sit on the side that AI is going to make creative education really expensive because right now we're going to be buying subscriptions and trying to teach people, things that that naturally would have been done practically, but now comes at a very high price subscription. Should I repeat my question, or do you understand?
No, yes, I understood. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think it's not just creative field. It's a universal galactic field. Because I think now it's this techno-feudalism phase we are facing. And this will be, for all fields, will be the same, let's say, subscription, obligations, and privilege. Okay. And that will increase the, differences and class struggle. Okay. So I think the fundamental stuff that we have to change, that this giant centralized system. We have to change this centralized system at first stage.
Thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful conversation. I developed a curiosity about that while listening to you. But my question is not about anything ethical. It's something in between psychological and philosophical, maybe. when you sit in front of the monster or the giant,
Yeah.
you also, you get there to hunt, but you also have to collaborate with it in a way. Although you describe yourself in the, of course, being in the critical side, you still collaborate, you still give input, you still share your content with that. And it's, I am curious if you have this kind of insecure feeling sometimes. If somebody, you know,
I
like
get it.
you use it and also it's also use you. So it's like somehow who or how being using or misusing your content there. Do you have any time this kind of insecurity or maybe disencouragement or something?
Can I add something to this question?
course.
So I like a saying stating that when a digital product is for free, then you are the product. So it's a mutual usage of this as well. So it's as an
Yes.
add-on to that question.
Yeah,
If
there
you
is
little
why-
bit have this feeling of revealing or sacrificing yourself, or you just say, no, I don't care because I'm getting into the water and I don't want to think about if my hairs are wet or not.
No, when I'm saying collaborator or performer is just fictional. It's in the performance. But when I say I use tool, it's real tool. But I'm always using as a tool because when you collaborate with something, you divide the responsibility in 2 or 3. But when you use as a tool, all the responsibility belong to you. So I think AI must be a tool and use it as a tool, and we have the whole responsibility. And the hacker culture, which I'm fascinated, and open source are using the monster to domesticate or take their side. We are always drawn this technology is side of the capital, but we can use the technology as in our side, in front side, to resist or to, let's say, fight, to delve these centralized systems. So I know it's, sometimes I try some models and I know it's black boxing and I feel very uncomfortable. Lately I saw a tweet from Edward Snowden stating that OpenAI now taking to board team a former NSA head. So it's a real deal. And it's also your choice still using this platform. But from my perspective, there are lots of platforms, lots of vectorialists. You can both use them, but use as a, counter side, as a counterpart. So not always sacrificing or, I believe that, and I feel comfortable when I more contribute to the open source environment and field and people.
I think we don't have any further questions. Okay, so dear Asli, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this inspiring and very interesting, extravagant conversation.
Thank you.
Café Artistique. Thank you very much for coming from Berlin. Thank you very much to all our guests, online audience. I will also like to thank to Yui for giving us this opportunity for this event. our technical and video team, our marketing team, our operation team, Liz Fernando, for her help, and I want to thank to my colleagues Yorgos and Nicole for their help and support. Thank you very much, and see you next time again in Café Artistique with another esteemed guest.
Thank you.